Hello everyone, this is Jospeg Network TV bringing to you more accurate news from all around the world. Please kindly subscribe to our channel if you have yet to do so, but if you have done so, we say a very big thank you to you. Now to the news. Without constitutional backing, card readers now useless, says INEC. The Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, Wednesday described the non-recognition of the smart card reader by the 1999 Constitution as amended as a great setback for the Commission's effort to tackle poll fraud using technology. According to the Commission, the lack of legal backing for the smart card reader has rendered the device legally impotent and has further encouraged politicians not to accord any importance to it. This came just as the Civil Society Situation Room has accused the electoral body of not being firm in enforcing rules. The Civil Society Coalition also said INEC should take responsibility for most of the lapses witnessed during elections, especially as it concerns violence and thuggery. INEC Commissioner in charge of publicity and voters education, Mr. Festus Okoye, at a meeting to review the just concluded governorship election in Kogi and Bayelsa State, said since the record of the card reader did not count as evidence during election cases, most politicians decided to ignore it while perpetuating their rigging. We must find solutions to the issue of the smart card reader. The smart card reader has lost its credibility in relation to the electoral process because the political elite have found a way around it. So rather than use the smart card reader, they just ignore it because ultimately they know that when they go to the court, what it will be saying is that if you want to prove overvoting, we want to see INEC register or result sheet and not the smart card reader. So, as far as I am concerned, the smart card reader has become a instrument. An instrument of fraudulence, he stated. On complaint trailing the just concluded governorship election, Okoye said INEC acknowledged that there was violence during the election in Kogi and Bayelsa State, which led to the decision of almost half of its staff to withdraw from the process for fear that their safety might not be guaranteed. Okoye, however, added that the Commission does not have the constitutional power to annul an election that was concluded and the result announced. He said, "My own understanding of the rule of interpretation is that when the intention of the legislation is very clear to give a particular legislation its original meaning, you don't have to give any other meaning to the provision of the law." According to him, Section 26 of the Electoral Act only gave INEC power to postpone an election before its commencement, adding that there is nowhere it empowers the Commission to cancel an election that has been held. The law states clearly that the moment the election is declared at the polling unit by a presiding officer, the chairman of INEC does not have the power to cancel the result of the election from that polling unit. In other words, each polling unit is sovereign in its own right, he added. He gave instances where INEC had tried to withhold certificate of return for senatorial and House of Representative elections on ground that the returning officer made their pronouncement under duress. But the candidates went to court and got the Commission's decision reversed. He said the court had always tied the hands of INEC in such circumstances. Okoye also cited the court judgment nullifying an INEC's disqualification of some candidates because of being underage or they did not have proper identity, as another instance where the judiciary has constrained INEC regulatory powers. My understanding of the whole issue of electoral reform is that electoral system alone cannot solve the problem of elections in the country without our political elites, he said. On violence and thuggery, Okoye said, although the law conferred on INEC the sole responsibility of conducting elections, the aspect of providing security was outside its power. The law never asks INEC to go and catch thugs. It is the responsibility of the security agent, he said. Earlier, the civil society situation room, Mr. Clement, had expressed the view that INEC should be more firm and decisive in dealing with all elections thuggery and electoral laws. He added that the commission cannot exonerate itself from the irregularity that marred the last governorship election in Kogi and Bayelsa State. Also, the political counselor at the British High Commission in Abuja, Mr. Dominic Williams, said Britain was worried about the increasing culture of violence and thuggery in Nigeria's election. He underscored the need for government to work together, ensuring peaceful elections. Well, that is a news that we have for you at this time. They're talking about election, and the voters reader. For me, they won't the card reader. The politicians will not use it because they know that as soon as they use that, all their rigging and everything will be minimized. So I think that is why they are trying their best to make sure that the court does not recognize the card reader. But they are giving INEC a hell of a job to do, because with this thuggery thing, ballot snatching and everything that is happening in Nigeria, and the violence all around the place for election malpractices is uncalled for. Nigeria is more civilized, or should be more civilized by now. But what do we see? Because of all this political elite using money to bribe people here and there, they are causing Nigeria a lot of problem, a lot of issues. By bribing people here and there to vote for them, to snatch boxes of ballot for them, things like that, to make violence, all around the world, especially in the Western world. You go there, you won't even know an election is holding. You just go in there, do your cast your vote, and go out. In fact, they don't close schools because of elections. But in Nigeria, what do we see? Because they know that definitely they will cause violence. So they decide to close schools, they decide to close shops, they decide to say they don't work because of election. Where in the Western world do you see that the election is being held, and shops and schools is being closed? No, nowhere. But this happens in Africa. It happens in Nigeria all the time. Every year, we waste money, by closing shops, by closing schools every time an election is to take place. This is uncalled for. We should try as much as possible to encourage this card reader, because I know with these card readers, election malpractices will be minimized. I don't say they'll be completely wiped off, but at least they will be minimized. So let us walk towards it. People are not talking about it because they think it does not concern them. Really, it concerns us because the wrong people, the wrong people are being voted into offices just because of all this ballot snatching, violence everywhere. The right people that are supposed to go and vote, they are afraid of their life. They can't go out to vote, and from there, they begin to, sorry, excuse me, they begin to snatch boxes. They begin to make violence, just to intimidate people. So for me, I think the court should back INEC up with this card reader thing. What is your own take about this particular news? Kindly leave your message in the message box, your comment in the comment section. It will be appreciated. And don't forget, please, if you're yet to subscribe to our channel, kindly do so. We'll be expecting you. Thank you.